So, I have a bit of a confession to make today.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I know. But I am currently just drowning in subscription fees.
Oh, the software fatigue.
Completely. I did this, I guess you'd call it a precarious audit of my business schools last week, and it is a total mess. I've
Yeah.
got a CRM over here. I have a separate accounting tool, a project management board that absolutely no one updates.
Of course not.
Right. And a website that honestly feels like it's held together by duct tape and sheer willpower. And you know what the absolute worst part is?
None of them talk to each other.
None of them. Not a single one.
It's the classic Frankenstack. You've basically stitched together a monster.
It is a monster. And I know I'm not the only one listening right now who has this exact problem.
Oh, definitely not.
But here is where I get really skeptical.
Mhm.
Every single time I look for a solution, I run into these companies that promise to be the all-in-one savior.
Right. The magic bullet.
Exactly. And usually that just means they do 10 things mediocrely instead of doing one thing well. It's that old jack of all trades, master of none problem.
Which is a completely valid skepticism. I mean, usually when a platform tries to be everything to everyone, the user experience just gets diluted.
Yeah.
You end up with this bloated interface where, say, the accounting tool feels like a total afterthought to the website builder.
Which perfectly brings us to the subject of today's deep dive.
Yeah.
We are looking at a platform called Dato.
Data suite. Yeah.
And on the surface, their core mission, they are pitching powering smarter digital systems. They promise intelligent software and real business impact.
Strong words.
Very strong. But when I looked at their target audience, my alarm bells immediately went off.
Yeah.
Because they claim to serve small businesses, enterprises, couriers, caterers, and get this, financial traders.
That is quite the spread, isn't it?
It's massive. I mean, how do you possibly build a single platform that handles both hors d'oeuvres and high-frequency stock trading without it being a total disaster?
Right.
So that's what I want to figure out today. Are we looking at a legitimate ecosystem here, or is this just a generic template factory with really good marketing?
Well, to answer that, we really have to look past the website design label on their front page.
Okay.
If you treat Dato Suite as just a CMS, like, a WordPress or a Squarespace, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it wouldn't.
But if you look at their automation and systems claims specifically, they use the phrase streamline operations with intelligent, data-driven software. When you see that, the picture changes.
How so?
Because we aren't talking about just displaying content anymore. We are talking about an underlying database architecture that is surprisingly modular.
Modular. See, modular is a huge buzzword, though.
It is.
Everyone claims to be modular right now. What does that actually mean in this specific context? Because to me, a module usually just means pay us $50 more a month to unlock a button on the dashboard.
Right, the freemium trap. But think of it less like unlocking a shiny new feature and more like swapping out the engine of a car while keeping the chassis exactly the same.
Okay.
Most website builders are static. They store text, they store images. Dato Suite appears to be building what we'd call an ERP.
An enterprise resource planning system.
Exactly. An ERP disguised as a web platform. To serve a local service company and a high-stakes trader, the underlying infrastructure has to be completely fluid.
Okay, let's actually test that theory. Let's look at the specific products they list, starting with the courier accounting software.
Good example.
Right, because if I'm running a logistics company, I don't just need a pretty contact us form. I need serious operational grunt.
You need geospatial data integration. That is the key differentiator here.
Geospatial?
Yeah. A standard accounting tool treats an invoice as a static document. It basically just says client owes $500.
Right, pretty straightforward.
But for a courier, that $500 is derived from dynamic variables. It's distance traveled, it's fuel surcharges, driver time, toll fees.
So the software has to actually be tracking the driver, calculating the cost per mile, and then generating that invoice automatically.
Based on their claim of streamlining operations, yes. If they were just offering a visual template, they wouldn't dare call it courier accounting software.
They'd just call it a courier website theme.
Exactly. The fact that they isolate the accounting function suggests the system can ingest tracking data, probably via an API or a mobile app input, and convert that directly into financial data.
Wow.
It's essentially bridging the gap between the logistics department and the finance department.
Okay, so contrast that with the other super specific product they highlight, which is catering accounting software.
Right.
To me, business is business. Money comes in, money goes out. Why does a caterer need a totally different module than the courier? Can't they just, change the labels in the spreadsheet columns?
I mean, you could, but you would be fighting the software every single day.
Why?
Because catering is effectively a manufacturing business.
Oh, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, you have raw inventory, which is food that has a strict expiration date. You have a bill of materials, which are your recipes. And most importantly, you have a completely different revenue recognition cycle.
Walk me through that. How is the revenue different?
Okay, so a courier usually invoices after the job is completely done. You drop off the package, you send the bill.
Right.
A caterer takes a massive deposit, sometimes 6 months in advance of a wedding.
Oh, true.
That money is actually a liability on your books until the event happens. If your software treats that deposit as revenue the day it hits your bank account, your taxes are going to be an absolute nightmare.
Right, because you haven't actually earned it yet.
Exactly. So a specific catering module implies the system deeply understands accrual accounting and inventory decrementing.
So when Dato Suite promises industry-specific solutions, they aren't just changing the color scheme. They are claiming to literally swap out the entire logic layer.
That's the only way it works. They are changing the math, not just the interface. They're building tailored tools for these specific niches.
Okay, I'm totally willing to buy the courier versus caterer split. Those are both service industries, fundamentally.
Sure.
But I want to push back on the third group they target, which is traders and financial professionals.
I had a feeling you might get stuck on that one.
It is the outlier. I mean, if I'm a stock trader, I am obsessed with latency, I'm obsessed with encryption, and I am wildly paranoid about security.
As you should be.
Right. I am not hosting my high-frequency trading platform on the same server farm as, like, a local bakery's website. This feels like the most dangerous claim they're making.
It is certainly the boldest claim. But look closely at the language they use in that specific section of the source material. They emphasize secure, reliable platforms and AI-driven systems.
Okay, but reliable is a vague word.
Not in the context of trading. In trading, reliability is a highly technical term. It means uptime guarantees. We're talking 5 nines, 99.999% uptime.
But every cheap web host promises 99% uptime these days.
Sure, but for a blog, 99% is fine. If your blog is down for 15 minutes at 2 a.m., literally no one notices.
Fair point.
In trading, if your system is down for 15 minutes during market hours, you could lose millions of dollars.
Yeah.
The fact that Dato Suite explicitly targets this demographic suggests their infrastructure is built on something far more robust than your standard shared hosting.
So what are they using then?
They are highly likely using containerized environments. That means the trader module is operationally and physically isolated from the caterer module, even if they're under the same Dato Suite umbrella.
Oh, I see. So my bakery website crashing from a viral video won't accidentally take down your algorithmic trading bot.
It absolutely shouldn't if the architecture is truly scalable and secure as they promise.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's the AI component you mentioned.
Right, let's talk about that. AI and analytics. It's another term that gets slapped on literally everything right now.
It really does.
The source mentions smarter insights for better decisions. Is this just, a basic chat bot that drafts my customer service emails? Or are we talking about actual quantitative analysis?
Well, for the trader, it has to be the latter. It has to be predictive analytics, spotting micro patterns in market data.
Right.
But here is the real aha moment when you look at their business model. That exact same predictive engine is what the courier and the caterer need too. It's just applied differently.
Wait, give me an example of that.
Okay, so for the trader, the AI looks at price history and volume to predict a stock fluctuation.
Got it.
For the caterer, the AI looks at last year's holiday season data, cross-references it with local weather and attendance rates to predict exactly how much raw salmon to order so it doesn't spoil in the fridge.
Oh, wow.
It is the exact same underlying technology pattern recognition on large data sets, but it's applied to completely different business verticals.
So they've essentially built a central intelligence engine, and they just pointed at different data streams depending on what business you run.
That is the absolute most efficient way to build enterprise software today. You don't build 3 different AIs from scratch. You build one incredibly powerful analytics engine, and then you just teach it the rules for trading, the rules for logistics, and the rules for inventory.
That actually makes the all-in-one promise sound a lot less crazy to me.
Right.
But let's shift to the business philosophy here, because they use this specific slogan. Built for SMEs today, enterprises tomorrow.
Yeah, that touches on a massive pain point in business, the concept of technical debt.
We hear that term thrown around a lot in tech circles. What does technical debt actually look like for the average listener running a business?
It basically looks like hitting a brick wall at full speed.
Ouch.
Yeah. You start a business, you buy a cheap, simple software tool because you only have 5 employees. It works great. It's affordable.
Right.
Then you're successful. You grow to 50 employees. Suddenly, that simple tool cannot handle the volume. You can't set proper user permissions. You can't get the complex reports you need for your accountant.
So you're forced to switch.
And switching is traumatic.
It really is.
You have to export and migrate years of data. You have to retrain your entire staff. And you usually have to pause operations just to make the jump. It costs an absolute fortune and lost time.
Right.
So Dato Suite's pitch, the enterprise's tomorrow part, is fundamentally an argument for vertical scalability. They're basically saying, start with our small module, pay for what you need, but when you grow, please don't leave us, just turn on the enterprise features.
Oh, I see. So the intense security, the high reliability we talked about for the financial traders, that massive infrastructure is just sitting there dormant for the small catering business until they actually need it.
In theory, yes. Think of it like renting a single room in a massive skyscraper, rather than building your own wooden shack in the woods.
I like that.
The skyscraper already has 247 security guards. It has a state-of-the-art sprinkler system and backup generators. You benefit from that infrastructure even if you're just renting a tiny cubicle on the second floor.
And when you're ready to take over the whole floor,
You don't have to move buildings. The infrastructure is already there waiting for you.
that skyscraper analogy is great.
Yeah.
But I want to pivot slightly and go back to the contact details section of their source material.
Oh, the location.
Yes, because I found something that genuinely surprised me. Looking at the sheer scope of this software, I completely expected this to be a Silicon Valley outfit, or maybe London or Berlin.
But it's not.
No, it's Kingston, Jamaica, area code 876.
Which is a really fascinating detail for a few different reasons.
My immediate first thought was, is this just an offshore shell company? But looking at the depth of what they offer, it feels much more like a deliberate operational hub.
It is deliberate.
Yeah.
Jamaica has been very aggressively positioning itself as a major tech hub recently, specifically for what's called nearshore services for the North American market.
Near shore.
Yeah. But there is a massive functional advantage here, too, especially when we tie it back to the financial trading and logistics aspects.
Are you talking about the time zone?
The time zone is a huge part of it. Being aligned with Eastern Standard Time is absolutely critical for U.S. financial markets. But think about their support promise. They highlight 24/7 support.
Right.
If you are running a global trading platform or a logistics company that has trucks moving freight at 3 a.m. across the country, you cannot rely on support that only works 9 to 5.
You definitely need a night shift.
You need a follow-the-sun model or a dedicated 24-hour operations center. Seeing a heavy-hitting tech firm headquartered in Kingston often implies a really heavy emphasis on human capital and continuous support services, which actually perfectly aligns with their primary call to action.
I noticed that call to action. There's no buy now button anywhere.
Exactly.
You can't just swipe a credit card and start trading stocks or routing delivery trucks in 5 minutes. You have to click book a meeting or request quote.
Which totally confirms our earlier suspicion that this is not just a generic, off-the-shelf software as a service product. It is highly consultative.
It acts as a filter.
It is a filter. If you just want to set up a quick blog about your cat, they honestly probably don't want you to book a meeting.
Right.
This platform is for businesses that have complex, messy workflows. They need to sit down with you and map out your actual data needs. They need to ask, okay, you're a courier, exactly how do you calculate your driver commissions? And then they configure the software to match your reality.
But that consultative approach is risky from a business perspective, isn't it?
Mm.
It definitely doesn't scale as fast as just having a simple buy now button.
It doesn't scale as fast initially, no, but it retains customers significantly longer. If they take the time to build the system around your highly specific business logic, you are far less likely to ever leave. It creates an incredibly sticky relationship. You aren't just a casual user, you are a partner in their ecosystem.
Partner is a strong word, but, the copyright date on the footer of the source material caught my eye.
What did it say?
It says 2026.
So it's current. It's highly active.
Exactly. It tells me they are actively iterating right now. This isn't some legacy software sitting on a server somewhere gathering dust for the last 5 years.
And in the world of AI and strict financial regulations, if your software isn't being updated almost weekly, it's already obsolete.
Very true. So, Let's try to land this plane.
Let's do it.
We started with my own skepticism, the whole Frankenstack nightmare. And I think a healthy amount of skepticism is always warranted anytime a company claims to do absolutely everything.
Always.
But based on the sources we've uncovered,
Yeah.
that they aren't necessarily doing everything. They are essentially doing one core thing: data management.
That is the major pivot in understanding Dato Suite. They are, at their core, a data management company that just happens to output that data to a website interface.
And they've wrapped that powerful data management in very specific industry wrappers. The courier wrapper, the cater wrapper, the trader wrapper.
It's the engine versus paint job concept we talked about. Most business owners buy software for the paint job. They like the interface. It looks pretty. Dato Suite is arguing that the engine, the intelligence software, and the real business impact they keep mentioning is what actually drives long-term growth.
Which effectively challenges you, the listener, to look really closely at your own digital stack right now. I'm sitting here thinking about my Frankenstack again.
Is your stack truly modular? That's the million-dollar question.
Meaning what exactly?
Meaning, if you land a massive game-changing contract tomorrow that suddenly triples your daily volume, does your current software setup break under the pressure?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have to suddenly hire 3 temps just to copy-paste data from your email inbox into your accounting tool because the systems don't talk?
Ouch. That hits a little too close to home for me.
If the answer is yes, you have a severe scalability problem. The whole SMEs today, enterprises tomorrow philosophy we discussed is entirely about removing that artificial ceiling. You really shouldn't have to punish yourself for being successful by forcing your team through a painful software migration.
You know, it's funny. We usually think of enterprise software as this incredibly boring, gray, bureaucratic thing.
Right.
But what Dato Suite is pitching here is actually kind of exciting. It's the idea that a small, hungry business in Kingston or Kansas or anywhere could essentially have the exact same digital firepower as a major Wall Street firm.
They are democratizing the data layer. It's a very powerful concept.
It is. But, and here's my final thought for you to chew on before we go. It only works if you actually understand your own business processes first. You cannot automate a mess.
Absolutely true. Automation applied to a highly inefficient operation will just magnify the inefficiency 1,000 times over.
Exactly.
You have to deeply know your workflow before you can ask a powerful tool like Dato Suite to run it for you.
So before you go rushing to book that meeting or request that quote, maybe take a step back and map out exactly what you need your isolated islands of data to actually do. Because if you don't know the rules of your own game, even the smartest AI in the world can't help you win it.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that officially wraps up our deep dive into Dato Suite. We will catch you on the next one.
Take care, everyone.